What's up, everybody? Pretty excited. I got Dougie here. I'm always excited to be with Dougie. That's my boy. We're hanging, man. We're hanging with Mark and Dougie, man. A lot of cool topics, man. We're going to get to it very soon. We need your help, guys. If you like what we say, or if you don't like what we had to say, either or, you listen, just give us a little shout out, a little review, whatever, subscribe to us, it's a lot of fun.
And share the video right now. When you're watching this, just share it with your friends and let them hear our perspective.
Yeah, it's just an opinion.
Just an opinion.
Yeah. It's funny because there's some things me and Doug agree on, some things we don't agree on. We don't go outside and say, hey, I'm nice to you outside. It doesn't work that way. It's just, you're allowed to have a different opinion. It seems like, everybody's too uptight about it. This is a lot of fun. We talk about other things too. We talk about all kinds of sports, everything, politics, sports, everything. So I'm going to start right off. I'm a little upset. I'm at to the point now where I almost don't want to watch football, man. It's getting to the point, it's just ridiculous. They already had it that you only could tackle the quarterback between his nipples and his belt. I mean, it's almost like flag football to start with. I mean, football's become such a pussy sport just to start with. And it used to be a great sport. Now, Tom Brady is up again for suspension because he didn't let the world know about his injuries. The man played with a torn MCL, I think, which is insane when you think about it. He hurt it in the first game. The fact that he played with this is amazing and won a Super Bowl with a team that is one of the losingest teams in the history of sports. Now they're trying to once again come at this man over something ridiculous. What do you think about this, Doug?
Well, you mean at the beginning of the season, he had an injury. He didn't disclose it.
He did not disclose it. I guess in the NFL, you're allowed to rape women and beat up people in elevators. Yeah. But God forbid, if you don't tell somebody about your MCL injury, that's going to attack you once he finds out about it.
Yeah, but I thought you'd be a little mad at your boy, at Tom Brady, because he actually poked a little fun at Trump.
I thought it was funny, actually. I thought that was kind of fun. I did, but I was going to get to that. And you know what? I can't get mad at the guy. He's allowed to have his opinion either way. And I know he's a Trump supporter because he's had his hat in his locker room. He's had to make it great, and he's there. You know what? Sometimes wherever you're at, when in Rome, you ever hear saying when in Rome? So he was in Rome, but he did. And we'll get to that because I thought that was kind of funny. But going back to this, I think this is so ridiculous that you have to tell another team about your injury. I think it's ridiculous. First of all, does a poker player say I have two aces? You don't say your weakness. You're not going to tell a team like, listen, my foot's got a little messed up. Don't hit me late. It's just ridiculous. And I think it's the only sport that you have to actually come out and say and disclose an injury, which I think is ridiculous. And he was able to play on it. So obviously that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, I find the whole thing odd, to be honest with you. You're right. I don't go into a poker game going, hey, when I'm bluffing, I usually
you have to disclose when you're bluffing. If you really have a 2-7 offsuit and you're in the hand, you have to disclose it now.
Yeah.
It's just a new way of thinking of society. I mean, they took the fun out of everything. Now they're taking the fun out of football. And the funny thing about it is, football used to be a man's sport. You used to watch it. Jack Ham and Ray Nitschke used to bite people. He used to be underneath the pile. He's biting people's fingers. Today it got pussified with you can't touch the kid. You can't do anything now. And it's ridiculous, and I think it needs to change. And if it doesn't change, it's going to lose a lot of fans. I mean, I think they're coming after Tom Brady because he's wins every year. And I think people get bored. I guess if you're a fan of another team and this guy just wins every year, you're like, oh my God, again, really? I mean, if you like Brady, it's awesome. But if you hate him,
what's the last thing they got mad at him for throwing the trophy
he had a couple of shots at the kill. They were mad that he had a little buzz going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And they were making some other changes in the NFL this year too, right? They have a new announcement, that's going to guarantee ratings to fall, which, the NBA, they said they're not going to, they're going to do their things about social justice. It's just great. They're not going to do it on the court. No more signs in the court.
Yep.
Right. And things like that. I mean, why, if I'm going to watch a professional sporting event and I see Black Lives Matter on the thing. You
watch it for a release. You watch sports for a release. You don't watch it for politics.
But, Black Lives Matter just basically got done saying that Cuba is good. One of the ladies in the 1614 Project was recorded as saying, there's the only place in the Caribbean that they don't have disparity and equality when it comes to economics is in Cuba. Well, you know why? Because nobody has shit in Cuba. You know what I mean? And then she even said, she's like, well, in the other Caribbean nations, there's so very few white people, you can't use that stat. Well, yeah, because in those Caribbean nations, the countries, they're doing their own thing. We're not looking at disparity. Oh, in Cuba, there's the least disparity between white and black. Yeah, because nobody's got shit. Nobody's got nothing. So you're gonna. Oh, that's a.
But here's the problem. I mean, there's the disparity in all races. First of all, there's a lot of disparity in white people. I mean, some people just think that white people were just formed from the heavens, and you're as a baby, they give you a golden spoon, and like you don't have to work anymore. It doesn't work that way, man. The minute I stop working, I'll be homeless on the side of the street. No one's gonna say, "Oh, he's white. Let's put him in let's put him in our house, and we'll feed him for the rest of his life." It doesn't work that way.
Right.
That's not how life works. Life's about the reason why everybody wants to come to this great country is because you have opportunity. There's plenty of opportunity for everyone of all colors, and that's why people risk their lives coming here. People risk their lives coming. If it was horrible, nobody's risking their life to go to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? But it just people risk their lives to come here because it's a great place. It is for all colors.
Yeah, and you know what? In a land of opportunity, you have the ability to win. Unfortunately, you also have the opportunity to lose.
Yes, it's what you put in. It's what you get out.
This is what this country is about, and that's the move. The left wants to make it a socialistic society where we all have the same shit. And you know what? As an American, I don't want to have the same shit. I want to have what I have. I want to have what I want. Like I get up every morning and I get up and listen, I could probably be more productive if I got up earlier. I'm not a morning person. That's just who I am. So in the meantime, I make my life by getting up by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whenever the hell it is. And that's when I pay my dues.
Well, I think socialism has been tried in several places in the world. And I don't think it's fared too well. I can't really think of too many places where like, oh, this is great. So, why change something that's not broke? This country is built on capitalism. And you know what? It should give you a reason to get up in the morning to become successful, to be what you want to be. And there's all kinds of opportunities for minorities now. It's a different world. It's a much different world today than it was.
It's not perfect. Nothing is, but
nothing's perfect.
But nevertheless, it is. We've come a long way, and we're going to continue for fighting for this equality and making sure the minute you come out of your mama.
Yep. I think it's funny because what they're doing is they're trying to segregate us, I guess, to make everybody hate each other because. Yeah. Like I said before, I don't think we have this issue. I don't think we need a black national anthem. I think the white national anthem, the national anthem, take that back. The national anthem is for all, is what I meant to say. The national anthem is for all. So I don't think it's white or black. I think it's for all. For all.
Right. That's the big thing. If somebody wants to say you're right, listen, there is a national anthem. It's for the
national. Keyword national.
It's for everybody under the United States. It's all encompassing. And to say that, we want to have this other, the black national anthem. Well, why don't we have then an Asian national anthem?
Why not?
Have a Hispanic national anthem? Why don't we have a female national anthem?
But that's what segregation is. You're segregating yourself. When you start doing things, when you start having one set of rules, that's what segregation is, and that's what we have to get away from.
If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to piss off the hoople heads, don't. It doesn't benefit. I couldn't imagine. I just can't imagine. I'm going to ask all my good friends, my black friends, hey. Is this really going to make a difference in your mind if you hear a national anthem before every football? Like, is it really going to make it like? Is it? Oh, it's all virtual signaling. It has nothing. It's all theater. It has nothing to do with really anything else. If the NFL wants to worry about equality, hire more black coaches, get more new NFL owners.
But they do that already, Doug. That's already been done. It's already been done.
That's the focus.
You have to listen, you can't just hire black coaches. You hire the most qualified coaches. If the most qualified coach happens to be black, then beautiful.
Yeah,
but if he's not, then you don't.
You still have to do that. Even in the corporations, there was
you don't. You hire the best man for the job.
Excuse me. There was a few people in the CEOs in the corporations in the United States. Yes, there has to be a wider, there have to be more opportunities because some have said, there's not enough black qualified. That's not true. There are black qualified people to be CEOs and be on the boards and stuff. But companies just have to be a little more open minded. Same thing with women, and those.
That's not. I don't believe that to be an issue.
Yeah, well, it is. It is. There is a bit of the old white boy network and the old guy network and the good old boy network. All that is. There's a lot of truth to that. And even in comedy, there's certain comedy like you have to be a certain group or certain people, and then that can. So it's not just race or it's a lot of
Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy seem to be doing okay in comedy, and Chappelle. I think they're the three highest paid, but. Who knows? But, that's where we differ a little bit. I think there's plenty of opportunity. I think the best person should always have the job. Doesn't matter if you're transgender, if you're straight, no matter what you are, the best person should always get the job. That's how it should be done. Just like we were in school, field day. The best person got first place. The second best person got the blue ribbon. And third place was red or white. Right. And that's how life works, man. And that's why you thrive. You can't just give positions to people for color because that is racism. Well, that's what racism is. If you give positions for color.
Listen. Look at Biden picking his vice president. Obviously, she was not the most qualified person to be vice president,
and that was wrong.
And we all suffer now because of that aspect. Being the main, and it can't be that. Like you said, to get a pool of people for the part, you got to get a pool of people, a good cross-reference of the society, and then from there you choose the best.
I'm all for quality people, no matter what color you are. I'm all for quality people. Yeah. I'm hiring the best. I don't care what color they are. I'm hiring the best. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? If it's a guy and he wants to dress up as a woman and he can type 80 words a minute and sells my inventory, you're hired. I don't care. Yeah. So going to the next subject, this is kind of interesting. So Joe Biden is going to be in the Hall of Presidents in Disney, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because he's a mindless robot, and so now he's going to have a mindless robot there. So it's perfect.
And we just found out that the one that is in the House of Presidents actually is more articulate than
he stutters less. Maybe they put a computer chip in him where he stuttered. Da, 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 da,
you can understand it better. Actually, it's amazing.
Hey, if you're gonna make it lifelike, which Disney does, hey, listen, we'll give Disney a round of applause because they do a good job.
Yeah,
you got to have a little boy bouncing on his lap on the the whole thing. You got to make this lifelike where you feel like you're there. Maybe like looking at an 11-year-old girl saying, "Oh, look at that." You got to have it like, make it look real.
Hey, look at that girl with those pigtails. Looks like she's 19. Ooh.
Maybe you have a little robot 11-year-old and he's got her by the waist or something. We can make this creative.
Walking around him.
But hey, I don't know. Did they put Trump in the whole presidents?
Yeah, he was in.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess by default they had to put Biden in there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody.
Which I have no problem with. You know what? He is our president. I'm not happy about it, but he is our president. And, I want the man to do good things. It's not like I want him to do good things. I don't know if he's capable of doing good things because he's a robot, but I want him to do good things, and we'll see what happens, man.
If anything in the last 30, 60 days, we realized about Biden, he's not running the show.
No.
Even Psaki said, in his words, which meant it was written for him to say, and nobody, he didn't want to do it. We know we got a Muppet. We've got a human robot in the White House that's being puppeted,
manipulated by the left,
by Pelosi and the left. So we all know that.
Yeah. And I heard him at one point saying, "What am I signing?" I mean, can you imagine somebody that's in charge of your country saying, "What am I signing?"
Yeah. He's even said, "What am I doing here?" I can't be president.
I know there's been times where he's in a room and Jill's like kind of pointing him where he's at. It's like, it's kind of cringeworthy a little bit, man. It's like,
you ever see him when he's walking away from the press, like going to the helicopter? He's
like lost. He's like my crazy uncle, that just doesn't know where he's like my crazy uncle that walks around in his underwear in my house. He's that crazy guy.
He has that robotic, and then he acts like he's running for a second. And then he slows down. What a putz. And and it's just ridiculous. The only good thing is 2022 is around the corner, and it's not going well for the Democrats at this early stage. So
you say it's not going well for the Democrats, but they find a way. It wasn't going well for the Democrats in the election, the night of the election, but they find a way to.
Well, we all know what Texas is doing. A lot of states are doing with their voter rights stuff. It's coming through. We know. We also are very aware. Like, for example, we talked last week about. The story about all those Texas Congress people left Texas to go to Washington D.C. It cost about $1 million of taxpayers' money, and they were all on a plane. Remember the pictures of them on the plane with no mask? They didn't have to. They weren't wearing a mask. And then, oddly enough, guess what? 6 or 7 of them have COVID now.
Well, you don't want to have COVID. Exactly. And they're such hypocrites too.
Yeah, and they
Talking
and
about
they
sorry.
met. By the way, they met with Kamala Harris, and she's been tested, and she refuses to quarantine.
Tested for stupidity, I believe, didn't she?
Yeah. She got tested. She goes, "You want me?" The test.
So talking about cringeworthy, Swalwell, the one that farts on camera, Swalwell, that goofy, he's the most goofiest person on the planet. So he's in the news again, and that's not good news for him. And it's always bad news, but he's another guy. He's Teflon Don. He gets involved with all these, not hooker, but spies and everything, and he gets away with it. Yeah. Now they caught him spending thousands of campaign dollars buying booze and hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how much longer you can get away with this. We'll see what happens.
Guy farts on camera. He's actually part of the committees.
And then he acts like nothing happened.
He slept with a Chinese spy. He had relations with a Chinese spy, and he was part of the Intel committee, right? And yeah, I mean, I think he's going down on Pelosi. I think the only reason he's getting help is because he's down there on Pelosi and he's eating that nasty snatch.
Oh God,
that's got to be the only reason why he's gotten. He's still in any committee.
But the Democrats, for some reason, they get a pass with everything. I mean, look at, like we talked about earlier, and we're not going to go into big detail, but look at Gilliam. I mean, no one even talks about it anymore. That should be like Richard Gere. They talk about that gerbil in his ass that never happened for 40 years. This guy Gilliam, no one talks about it like it didn't happen, like it was normal. We got gay sex and fentanyl and drugs, and no big deal. He's only going to run for the highest position in Florida.
Yeah, and they still badmouth DeSantis. It would have been much better to have that closeted, porno wannabe drug addict.
Yeah.
He was the next Obama.
No, it's ridiculous, man.
Well, I guess he did have something similar to Obama. They both like dick.
Exactly. Yeah. And the funny thing is we have more physical proof with Gilliam because we actually on camera. Michelle, it's still in the air, at times. I mean, she can palm a basketball and dunk, so that makes you think, but who knows? The whole thing with Ellen, the little dancing, who knows? I'm not going to say anything because I'm not 100% sure about anything, so we'll let that go. Exactly. Who cares?
Even if she was or he was, whatever.
Yeah, but you know what? I have no problem with it. But just come out. Just listen. If you fart on camera, say you fart on camera. If you're dating a man, you're dating a man. So what? Who cares? Not a big deal. It's 2021. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
If you're blowing guys at a truck stop, go ahead and tell everybody.
Yeah, do it. That makes you happy. Yeah. You should do what makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? So people in San Francisco, they said they've had enough. They're talking about, they don't like that there's so much crime. Geez, I wonder why there's so much crime in San Francisco. What do you think? Maybe because you're letting people shoot heroin on the side of the road? I mean, side of the street? Maybe that's part
needles, of it. Giving, free needles and not actually cleaning things up. And
maybe because you want to defund the police? Maybe that's part of the reason there's crime? Yeah. Who knows?
And there's a huge wealth gap in San Francisco, right? Because, you get a nice place, you need $14 million, and the low income housing is only $4 million. So, it's who lives there? I just met a comic that left San Francisco because it's such a shitty place. It's horrible,
And can you imagine that, it was once a beautiful place. I lived in Frisco, believe it or not, because I was in the military and I was there and it was gorgeous. But now the liberal America has completely ruined it. It's not a coincidence that all these liberal places, they're shitholes. It's not a coincidence. I'm sorry. It's not. Yeah, there's a reason for it. The laws are lackadaisical. They're more worried about legalizing drugs than anything.
Like a what? Like a doozles?
Lackadaisials.
Lackadaisial. So you will not be an owner of an NFL team.
Who, me?
Yeah, you can't say lackadaisical.
So that's part of the problem there. So, it's funny. You reap what you sow, man. Just like, it's people, they expect certain things, but they don't want certain things,
Right. Absolutely.
What are you going to do with that? So
speaking of defunding of the police, everybody was, this is what's going to haunt the Dems in 2022. Because all those sound bites of them saying it. But now, it was no big deal. Like, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. All this media, the Fox News and conservative news outlets are the ones saying there's all this crime in the cities. But then what do we have this week? A shooting outside a Washington Nationals game, which actually interrupted the baseball game. When's the last time you went to a baseball game or saw any sporting event where they had to stop the event because there was a shooting outside where one of the fans got shot?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really hear that very often. I mean, baseball's kind of boring, so I don't know. Maybe it brings a little excitement to the game. You know, I'm kind of bored when I watch a baseball game. A couple of shootings, you know, you might go start going to games. You know, it's like kind of like NASCAR. You wait for the crash.
You got to show.
But listen, Washington's not a very nice place, so I'm not surprised. You know, I'm more surprised that there hasn't been more shootings in like Chicago Cubs games and White Sox games, because especially the White Sox where they play, that's not a very lovely area. You know,
well, that was interesting about Washington that it happened there because it hit home. There's actually Democratic leaders that were at the game, and they're like, "Well, perhaps maybe we do have our head up our ass."
Oh, they know. Listen, I don't think it's taking this to them. I don't think they care. How about that one? I don't think they care. You know, you don't think Nancy Pelosi sees what's going on in her neighborhood? She knows. You don't think the Beetlejuice knows what's going on in her town? They know what's going on. They don't care. They're getting paid either way. They don't care.
Yeah, they want the masses to follow their lead. That's
exactly, man. You know, it's been like that for a while. It's not going to change, and people still vote Democrat. And that's the funny thing about it. When things don't change, and you still vote a certain way, it's insanity. I think that's actually the definition of insanity.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity. You know, like another hypocritical situation. You know, they want the left wants the border open down in the south, like, oh, you know, all these folks making this treacherous. You know, they were saying, come, you know, Kamala come and Biden come, and then of course they said, oh, don't. And then they tried to save face, like, don't come. You know, and then the guy, the immigration guy, or whatever, he's useless. He basically he says, oh, he tells the people from Cuba, he goes, if you don't get on a boat and try to come here, of course not, because they're Republicans. You know,
you don't want, you know why? Because they know what real communism looks like. Yeah. They know real and when they come here, they're very outspoken. And they're listen, of course how could they not be conservatives? They've seen it. They've seen what socialism does. They got to be and a lot of these people came from nothing and they built businesses. They love capitalism. I mean, why wouldn't you love it? And the funny thing the matter is, you know, they're going to try and stop any way they can. They're going to try and control the Democratic Party is going to try and control the presidential race forever. Forever. There's always going to be something that they do to try and block votes for conservatives.
You think DeSantis is going to win? Do you think DeSantis is going to be?
Is he running for president?
I would assume he is. I mean, he is.
You think he's going to run with Trump or against Trump?
I don't think Trump's going to run for president. I think
he said he is. He said he is.
Yeah, I don't think so, and I wouldn't want him to.
I think he will. I think with his ego, he will. I don't really want him to. I love him, but I don't think he needs the abuse. I mean, he's an old man now. I don't think he needs the abuse.
I don't think we need the abuse. I don't want to hear every belly acher and. You know, let's
but you don't think with DeSantis you're going to get abuse? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, but here's a guy who's, you know, he's not going to put his foot in his mouth that Trump would do. You know, he has that more political, you know, suave.
He has a bit of demeanor, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? But he has that same drive to look at the country the way it should be. So, you know, but they're talking about, you know, what they wanted to do is Trump like be the Speaker of the House. He would be appointed the Speaker of the House.
How great! Hey, how great would it be if he was the Sarah Huckabee of what's his name, DeSantis election? He comes out there, shut up, you shut up, hey, you kiss my ass.
Yeah. He's
you're stupid. I want to hear you stupid next.
He's the press secretary for.
Yes, the press secretary. That's what I was thinking of. How funny would that be if he was the press secretary? Oh my God!
You got to miss that. Like, oh. No, you don't think. I know you never think. I mean, we miss it. I mean, let's face it. I was watching. I love it. I watched a clip the other day. I guess the Morning Joe with the Joe. What's his name's wife?
That idiot. Oh, I can't stand him. The one that just lives to bash Trump.
Every time she was just bringing him up again. I'm like, you know, he hasn't been in office for months, and you still keep bringing him up. They still have derangements. Know why? Because they're worried that he's going to come back, and he knows all the secrets too. He knows all the secrets. You know? It's whether he's going to let him out, but he knows them all. And I mean, if DeSantis runs, the question you asked me, if DeSantis runs, I would love it. I would love it. You know, I couldn't see anybody on the left beating him. Who's gonna run? Harris You know,
Well, here's the problem, Doug. You say you can't see anybody beating him. Charles Manson can run on the Democratic. Well, he's dead, but we can get any person to run as a Democrat, and they would win because of the corruption and some people will just not vote Republican. They don't care. Oh, this guy's a mass murderer. Yeah, but he's not Trump. You know, it's like they don't care.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I got faith in the upcoming elections.
Doug, believe it or not, this show has went by, man. It's been over 30 minutes, man. This was a great show, man. Great topics, man. Yeah. And it's always a pleasure doing it with you, man. It's always an honor, man. You know, I like that we're starting to get a little different opinion. You know, I'm more right than you are, of course, but you know, we both have a different opinion. It's nice, you know, and that's a good thing, you know.
Absolutely. And I do want to say this because in the last show, you had mentioned that it was an act of God when that mural of George.
Mr. Floyd?
George Floyd was shot because I had somebody message me. They're like, you know, that was your buddy on there was a bit of a dick because he said that it was God's wrath. I go, look, man, it's a comedy podcast. Stupid, number one. And I said, here's another possibility that the painter, whoever painted the mural, must use a lot of metal-based paint. Because that's another option. Like
either that or God did it, man. Who knows?
Well,
I'm gonna piss the guy off again. Hey, listen, where's thunder come from? This guy? I don't know. He lives up there somewhere, doesn't he?
Yeah, so I don't know. God's not that vengeful, but I think it's more there was metallic paint used.
That's what I think it is too.
That's probably.
I think it's something like that too. We'll leave it at that. Hey, listen, guys, it's been awesome. If you do like the show, please share it, enjoy it, show it to other people, let other people see it. It's growing. It's definitely growing. I actually went to a restaurant the other day and someone came up to me, it was kind of cool. And they said, I know you. And they said they seen the podcast. So people are seeing it. It's kind of cool. So I kind of like it. And that's why we're doing it.
Say anything about me?
Share it.
Did they mention me?
They did. They said you and they said, yeah. They said they love the show, by the way. They say they love it.
That's good.
So what have you been doing, Dougie? Tell me what you got coming up.
Well, man, I'm going to be home this week. Excited not to be traveling. I'm going to be at the Comedy Zone this Thursday in Greenville, my hometown. I'm going to be judging a amateur contest, local comedy, and I'll be closing the show at the end of the night. And I'll be in Liberty, South Carolina, actually hosting a clean comedy show. That's my whole thing.
How fun is that?
Well, I'm writing all this new clean material now, so I'm really working at that so I can work anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I can get up anywhere.
You know what sucks that you have to do that because comedy should come from within. It shouldn't matter what you say. It should come. That's what I used to love about the old school comedians, the George Carlins it should just come from within. You shouldn't have to write clean jokes. People should just enjoy it. You know, I used to love when Don Rickles says, "Is that your wife?" She looks like she got hit by a truck. And no one said, "Hey, I want to fight you outside." They laughed, man, because it was comedy. And that's what comedy is.
No, it was actually because it was Don Rickles. And Don Rickles was able to establish that. And if you're just starting out, you can't just establish that. You know, you want to be funny and you want to be able to do it without offending, let's say, people, and you want to just be funny. And it's a great challenge. And I'm actually enjoying it because it is actually fun to write stuff that, you know, you can tell that joke anywhere in front of any crowd. And it's a lot more resourceful. And I will get a lot more work. So,
yep. That's why I'm not a comedian. You are, because I don't have that button where it shuts off, you know, and you do. And you're a little bit more, you go with the flow. Me, I just speak my mind, and that's what it is, you know. Yeah. But that's awesome. If you do get a chance to see Doug with he's saying clean jokes and dirty jokes, he's funny. I like him better when he's edgy and he doesn't give a shit. But you know, you go see him either way. He's a very funny guy. Get a chance to see him. He's great. Me, I do what I do. I got a sports memorabilia shop. I buy, sell Breitling watches. I buy gold. I buy silver, artwork. Anything you got, I buy it, you know. And even a damaged George Floyd a mural, I'll buy if you bring it in. Yeah. I'll buy anything you have, man. So we could do it. Everybody, enjoy what you do in life. And peace out, everybody. Boom.
Great seeing you guys. And we'll be back next week, right? We'll be back.
Yes. I'll see you then.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, fellas, girls, ladies, and in-betweens.